my producer. Pull from the hip for a fifth, I'm the shooter. Dog, I do ya. But the two don't discriminate, cause I shoot the guy next to ya. I can see right through.
This week, I know we try to step our game up every week, guys, but this time I know we're sports based, but somebody who does so much for the community, and it's a privilege, it's an honor. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Terrence Wheeler. How you doing, sir?
Man, Vince, I'm phenomenal, man. Thanks so much for having me. Just trying to do my best, man.
What up, though, Terrence?
Man, what up, though, brother? You good?
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, all what you doing, man. So I'm going to start it off. Why Southwestern? Why not become a Doughboy?
Well, Doughboy, first of all, I was too far, man. Persian was way too far. Southwestern was far enough. I had to catch 2 buses. It was much easier for me to go to Western, which is our feeder school. However, my 8th grade coach was like, nah, I don't need you going to Murray Wright, Chad C., St. Hedwig, Bishop Borges, or Western, those schools that were recruiting me as an 8th grader. It took me over to Southwestern, and I ended up doing a shooting drill with Stacy Hooker, Jamie Davis, and Antoine Jobert, who was at that particular moment was #1 high school player in the country, was LeBron with a Jerry curl. And that environment just kind of seduced me to an extent, like this is where I need to be at. And Mr. Pert, rest his soul, got with my mother on the right day, man, and she had the right spirit and believed in him. Went over to board education, and we got the transfer, and I went to Southwestern, and the rest is history, man. One of the best decisions of my life.
Well, anybody who goes to Southwestern, the name Perry Watson gets brought up. This man is just so legendary. Talk about your relationship with this man.
Perry Watson is the GOAT, man. He's the most selfless coach I've ever played for. Anytime a guy sacrifices his summers for young men in particular, our group of guys didn't have a father at home for the most part. You only had a couple of guys that had their father at home, I want to say, or in their life. Bill Jones, Mr. Clyburn, you had Antoine, and maybe Kevin Williams. But the rest of those guys, we didn't have a father at home. He became that father figure. He was your uncle. He was everything to us. And he's a guy that never led you astray. His word was his bond. He believed in us, taught me some great principles about life. I just remember him saying, there's no shortcuts in life. Don't let the little head think for the big head. Use basketball, don't let basketball use you. And that is so, it's so prophetic because a lot of young players don't understand this is a business. This game will use you and spit you out if you're not careful to get some return on your investment.
Terrence, let me ask you this question. Growing up in the neighborhood, because I grew up, well, not exactly like you, but I grew up with a single mom. How important is like your basketball coach or having those mentors or even having your mom in your life help you become successful? Like how important is it to have those mentors and your mom in your corner for you to be successful?
It's everything, man. I've had some outstanding coaches in my life. Going way back to the boys club, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith took me to Jake Boyd, which is the Road Runners. So I played for the Road Runners from 10 to 14. Then I went from Road Runners to Southwestern. Jake Boyd, who's another coach that sacrificed, picked us up after working hard every day at Cadillac, take us all the way to Weber Middle School, then drop everybody else off at home. And so now as a grown man, you understand and appreciate those sacrifices. Nobody in this world is successful by themselves. Somebody got to nurture and support your greatness. So the work I'm doing is a testament to the work that was done for me with Jake Boyd, Coach Smith, and Perry Watson. That coach is your father figure. That coach is an adult that can help you cross the finish line. Every kid needs a champion, but every kid doesn't have a champion.
Amen.
Well, with all that tradition and the love and the nurturement, how did you feel when the doors closed at Southwestern?
Oh, man, it hurt me to this day, Vince. I'm still hurt. I'm walking around wounded every time I drive past there. Every time I come across I-75 freeway, and I'm like, why is this school closed? When we put so much tradition in the school, Jalen Rose put hard-earned money in the school, it was politics. We went down there and we fought hard. Myself, Judge Kenny King, Rashida Tlaib, we fought hard to keep that school open. But the politics won. They wanted the land. And you look at it now, nothing's been done to it. You know, it's been sold again, and that school should be open. It had a great environment. It just pains me, man.
So Terrence, let me ask you
Then
this.
you got Persian still open. I'm sorry.
No.
I feel the same. I feel the same way about Persian.
No,
I feel the same way.
Time out. The reason why Persian's still open is who got the most Mr. Basketballs out of any in the city? Who got the most Mr. Basketballs out of any high school in the city?
Man, listen, y'all got a great tradition. Johnny Golston was my man. Smitty, I would have loved to have been more of an integral part of Keith Applin's life. Had he been a Southwestern prospect, we would have showed him nothing but love. You know what I mean? No, I love Field. I love them guys over there, Persian, man.
Yeah. So we doing a little research, man. I see you finished top 10 in Mr. Basketball. Of course, like we say, you should have been top 5, but you was in there with Terry Mills, Willie Burton, DC. Tell us a little bit about losing the city to one of them and then losing the state to one of them.
Man, it hurts. Listen, I lost. So Willie Burton was my teammate as road runner. So me and Willie Burton go back to we was 8 or 9 years old. He goes over to the Poors. They beat me in the city championship my junior year. So I got him beat me in my junior year. Derek Coleman beat me in PSL championship my senior year. Terry Mills beats us for the state championship. And we all still tight, man. So I still hear it. So I can only talk so much trash to a certain extent because they got the trump card. They said, "Sit right on DC forehead. He gonna let you know they beat us in the PSL championship." But here's one caveat. Another guy played with us named Donald Buckley. He played with me and Willie B. Now, Donald Buckley shows up when we was 10 and under with 2 Medicaid cards with 2 different birthdays. So I think he was too old to even play in the PSL. He was a grown man. Yeah, he was a grown man.
Now, I think I got PTSD when it comes to Derek Coleman because he tore down our backboard over again. So I can't. That dude was something different, man. He was something different. So why Arizona State? How'd you get away from all these Michigan colleges?
Man, you know what, Vince? Arizona State wasn't even in my top 5. I got to Arizona State because of a guy named B.J. Armstrong. So B.J. Armstrong, we're driving from Detroit to Millersville, Georgia to a camp. And he's talking about the recruiting process and me and him in the back. I'm just picking his brain. And he's like, "Listen, man, take all your visits." So I was scheduled to go to Fresno State. So it was a coach at Syracuse. It was Lewis Orr and another coach. The other assistant coach at Syracuse liked me. Lewis Orr liked a guy named Earl Duncan, who kind of was built like Pearl, but he wasn't Pearl, out of Santa Monica. Sure. And so Arkansas had came. I go out to just taking a trip to Arizona just because I've never been there. I go out there and everything's kind of the same rigmarole. Show you the campus, you're going to play a lot. Here's where you're going to live at. We're crossing this palm walk, Vince. Take it over this bridge. Come down, there's 1,000 palm trees. That's when the whole thing changed. Like, oh, I ain't never seen nothing like this, man. I'm from a place we only got sprinklers. So then the coach calls my grandmother and he says something, man, profound. He says, "Listen, I'm going to take him as a boy and return him to you as a man. I got him. I understand his financial situation. I understand everything's going on in his life. Trust me." Man, to this day, man, the only coach, especially the only Caucasian coach I've ever had that I trusted 100%. This man was an angel in my life, man. Everything he said, his word was his body. Everything he said was gonna happen, it happened, man. Cried at my graduation, just stuff that coaches don't do who don't have love for you, man.
Man, that's amazing, man. So let me ask you this: while we in the Pac-12, what's your most memorable Pac-12 game?
Oh man, going against Gary Payton, man, on a regular basis, talking trash to GP, who's still one of my closest friends to this day. And I'm gonna tell you a story, man. So I get hurt my junior year in college. I tear 2 ligaments in my knee, and man, in the hospital, man, and phone rings. I'm like, "Hello?" He said, "Well, you can't guard me if you're in the hospital." It was Gary Payton. So you know that means something to me, man. It means something to our friendship, and me and him are super duper close to this day. Just playing against guys like Terrell Brandon, man, Sean Elliott, Kerr, Kevin Johnson, Harold Miner, a slew of great guard play. And I just enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the Pac-10. It was definitely guard-driven league.
Talk about your induction to the
hole. They don't know about you.
Talk about your induction to the Pac-12. Hello?
Let me say, man, I was outside my house, man. It was a snowy day, and I was doing my snow. I had my snowblower. The phone rings. I'm like, hello? It's one of the guys from ASU Sports Information. Like, man, they don't want to induct you to the Pac-12 Hall of Honor. Man, I stopped, bro. I froze outside, Vince. I'm like, me? Because here's the thing, man. I know where my career would have taken me had I not gotten injured. So I came out the gate my junior year, man. I got 29 against Alabama, 27 against Baylor, bro. I'm rolling. I'm ready. I'm rolling, man. I'm ready to do this thing. Didn't come out the first 6 games of my junior year. I'm playing every minute. I know where I'm headed. And so to end up, playing overseas for a number of years and all that good stuff, man, to have the school and them honor me, man, was just a pleasure and a testament to all the great coaches and players that I played with, man. And for them to think highly of me, it's a day I'll never forget.
Wow. Okay, so you played for a while in Venezuela. How do you compare overseas basketball to the basketball here in the United States?
I would say this to any player that's trying to go international. A couple things you need to understand. They're not paying you for assists. They're not paying you to have 10 points and 4 assists. You can't pull a Paul George, okay? You got to put that ball in the hole, man. You got to put it in the hole. You got to put it in the hole on a regular basis. And so because there's only a couple Americans per team or a couple foreigners, so I played in Brazil, Venezuela, Argentina, you got to be able to play because it's such a heavy load on you because the other guys, you might be fortunate to have a guy who played maybe a little junior college ball in the States, a little bit here and there, but they really expect you to carry the team. So you got to deal with the environment, the language barriers. It's not the United States. So for me, I already knew Spanish going over there in those countries. So it wasn't really a difficult process for me. And I said to myself, well, I'm going to use basketball. I'm going to see the world. I'm going to get paid for it. I'm going to make some great friends and have great experiences, man. So I got friends all over the world, man.
Terrence, quick question for you. It's going to be hard, so I'm going to need you to give me your correct answer, all right?
All right.
Give me your top 5 Southwestern players all time.
Ooh, number 1 is going to be Antoine Jobert, flat out.
You gotta have a
That's
judge.
we can argue. We can argue about, but Antoine Jobert is number 1. Number 2, I would probably say Jalen Rose.
Okay. I
would say Jalen Rose. 3, I would probably, Leslie Rockmore. No. Leslie Rockmore got to go 3. Yeah, Rock. Sure. I'm saying, forget that. Rock going 2. Rock going 2. J Rose going 3. I'm gonna say a guy named Keith Taylor at number 4.
Keith
Taylor. And I'm gonna say Keith Bates at number 5. See, Bates is gonna surprise people because he wasn't a scorer, but what he was is pound for pound the best leader in Southwestern history, hands down. He didn't score a point, but he controlled the whole game. And playing sports, man, you got to have a guy that's going to pump up the other guys, who's going to get on this guy who's passive when he should be aggressive, or get on this guy who's too aggressive when you need to be passive a little bit. So I'm going to say Keith Bates, man.
So let me ask you, is Vo and Howard in your honorable mention?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. Vo up there. Howard, HO is up there too, because here's the thing. If we just talking high school, now you could go on and say about their careers after high school, but we're just talking about high school era, the numbers being put up. Yes, they're there. They won a state championship, but you got guys, man, like Sam Silman, who was a player, man. I mean, bro, Anderson Hunt, who had a great career in high school. Bro, I averaged 24, 7, 7, and 5. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to exclude me just in terms of talking, but man, them guys are great players, man. Great player. Anderson Hunt was a great player. Yes. Howard Isaac, Bo Leonard, Garland Mans, Derek Vinyard, Stevie Wise, hell of a player.
You know who I see getting neglected a lot, but I checked him, so I got to put him in there. What about Clyburn?
Oh, man, come on, listen. Man,
Clyburn was nasty.
Man, Clyburn, honestly, brother, could have been and should have been one of the top PSL players in history. He had size, he had skill set, he got jumping ability, he could shoot that ball. Man, listen, Clyburn was a hell of a player. So he got to go top 10 as well. Yeah, Clyburn, hell of a player, man. But the list is long, Vince. The list is long, man.
Yeah.
My dad on that list too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
My dad would.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got to put Jesus on there, man. Absolutely.
So when you compare, that Southwestern's greatness, what other high school in Detroit would you say compares or comes close to that? Now, don't forget Benny White.
Yes.
Martin Luther King had.
Yeah, I'm about to say this, man. So Vince, in my era, my two games I always remember is King with Derek Jefferson, Donnell Dickerson, Willie Tucker, Amp, Derek Williams, Jackie Jones, man. But then the pound for pound most talented team was Mackenzie Staggs. They didn't always win it. Yeah. They had size, they had height. You got Derek Richmond, Ted McCree, Dwayne Marcellus, Doug Blanchard, Doug Smith, Johnny Woodson. I mean, you got some players. They just couldn't always put it together. I think that they lacked a little discipline in some games. Like King should have beat us in the PSL semifinals. They had us beat. Somebody took a jump shot with 10 seconds to go and they was winning, and we ended up beating them at the buzzer. Same thing happened to Martin Luther King. They up by a point. Now, let me tell you how they set us up, Vince. The state tournament run, we opened up, bro, at Murray, against Murray, who had a whip. They had Joe Blankenship. They had Lee Coward. They had Nate Bunton. Why are we playing an open round at their gym? This should have been a regional game. They tried to get us out of there. Joe Blankenship, I think he missed a 1-and-1 free throw. I came down, hit 2 free throws, game over, man. Ended them guys' career. Get them out of here, bro. Get them out.
Okay, so after all of that, you start the Terrence Wheeler Foundation. Man, you guys have done so much. I mean, just talk a little bit about it.
Man, as a child of poverty, Vince, man, I keenly understand what young people need, man. I've been there. So every program that we started is derived from pain, is derived from talking to young people. They'll tell you what they need. Now, it's your job to supply those needs and eliminate some of those non-academic barriers to education. I just remember being younger and not having food. Me and my mother, we was at a shelter or at a food bank. So that's our turkey drive. I remember sometimes not having the gear or the clothes that you want. I remember my grandfather selling popcorn before his shift at Great Lakes Steel so I can get those Legends that cost $80 back in the day over at Kingsway on Grand River in Greenfield. And so we just try to meet the needs of young people because they need a champion. When they get to school, those kids have done their job. Now it's up to you adults to make sure you help them pass the finish line. Kids don't need a savior, Vince. They need a servant. Who's going to step in the gap and help young people? Talk is cheap, man. The work is expensive. How are you going to love that kid past their mistakes? I wouldn't be sitting here, man, had it not been for some adults that loved me past my mistakes, that loved me when I was a knucklehead, when I was on the fence of doing things that wasn't always correct, immaturity. So I'm just trying to be a conduit to say, you know what, here's what we're doing. Myself, Derek Coleman, Gary Payton, here's the things that we're doing to help young people. Your backpack is not just going to have school supplies, it's going to have toiletries because this kid may be living in a shelter. This kid may be on somebody's couch, sleeping there homeless. You never know. But I want to make sure you have everything that you need to come to school with a peace of mind.
And that's big time because I've been following you from afar. I've been seeing the things you've been doing at Rouge. You guys do it's the All-Star Give Back, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
So I've been a fan of that for a minute, especially when you have Big Sean and you have a bunch of the Detroit artists and everything come. Of course, me and Craig have our own nonprofit as well. We started, which is called Youth for Bigger Than Life. It's not on the highest level like yours, but we do a lot of inner city stuff in the neighborhood I grew up in around Persia. So we do grocery giveaways, we do back to school drives, we do some of the similar things you do. And I know you touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But explain why you started. I know you touched on it a little bit, but just explain in depth, like how you grew up and the reason why.
So I grew up, man. I grew up in a dope house. My mother sold drugs and she used drugs. I had a role in that house, man. We were selling Tarwins, Valiums, and Ritalins all the way up to methadone to heroin. And so I understand when kids are growing up in these environments, you don't even know that the danger in which you're in. I'm gonna give you a story, man. So I went to visit my grandfather in New Orleans, my mother's father. I'm down there on a Wednesday, bro. On Thursday night, I go to bed. My uncle wakes me up at 2 a.m. There's yellow tape in the living room. My grandfather had got tied up and shot twice. He was selling marijuana. I slept through the entire ordeal. So I'm telling you this, man, that God has a calling on my life, brother. I cannot have, these blessings cannot be in vain. The blessing bestowed on me has got to be where I can help other people. And so I came back home in 97, 98. My grandmother was sick, and I started riding around the neighborhood. I remember calling Derek Coleman. He was playing for Philadelphia. I said, D, man, we got to do something and help the community. And we started just doing little things. So you talking about 22, 23 years ago, just doing little things to get us to where we at now. So people see us now and be like, oh my God, but you forgot, man, one of our first grants was for $250, a 3-page grant that we had to fill out for $250. So I'm telling you, you crawl before you walk. And so I got tired of asking companies to help us who say they're about kids, but they're really not about kids. Poverty has no zip code. I can tell you, even to this day, I call companies, oh no, well, we only gonna do this area. Well, man, this kid is hungry in this area. You know, so are you gonna wait till this kid gets in trouble? I'm trying to be proactive, not reactive. And so our things is, if I can supply the things you need, food, if I can help your mother with her DTE bill, if I can help you get some shelter, if we can just if I can expose you, take you outside of your 6-mile radius, because poverty is not just about money, brother. It limits access to people that can help you. And so we're here to provide help, telling you, I come from where you come from. I know what you're thinking. Let me get in front of that, man. Here's my cell phone. These kids call me all times of day and night. My phone is on. I'm reaching back to them. How can I help you, man? I got kids that are in college that's trying to figure it out. Don't quit. Don't give up. Stick through the process. That the only time success coming for work is in the dictionary, because S coming for a W. You got to put the work in to get to success. And success is simple. I set a goal and I accomplish it. Never stop setting goals. You're going to be great. You're going to be phenomenal. Conquer that adversity. Be great.
Wow. And I've seen Wayne County has tried to adopt that feed the homeless, but it's not on a bigger platform that you do it. But just talk about that too. I've seen you feed so many, for Thanksgiving food. Just, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's heartwarming.
Vince, man, when the coronavirus first hit and they said we were shutting down the schools, I said, man, how do I still reach out to my high school seniors, because they're calling me, they distraught, you know what I mean? They're feeling like, I'm confused. So I started a little small campaign called We Love You Fridays. I would drive around to our high school seniors, dropping off Popeyes and pizzas and stuff like that, giving them high fives, just saying, we love you, we still care about you, I haven't forgot about you. So then I said, I knew that especially downriver, where you have more marijuana dispensaries than food options, I knew that there was always a problem in terms of people getting food. So I said, okay, how do we create a mobile food pantry that can feed people? So we started this mobile food pantry with Forgotten Harvest and a couple other partners. And man, year to date, brother, we're at 290,000 meals feeding people every Wednesday morning. Vince, we start at 9. People are lined up at 5:45 a.m., brother, because the need is great. I got a guy that comes from Monroe, Michigan, 45 minutes to the River Rouge so he can feed him and his family. We're giving you 6 to 7 days worth of food. I always ask for potatoes, because if you're skillful with a 10-pound bag of potatoes, you got a baked potato, you can broil it, you can got some French fries, you got some hash browns, it's mashed, and it's fulfilling. But I can tell you that this is a different line, man. Like, I'm seeing white, black, young, old, but there's a look of despair, Vince. And so to that point, man, on Monday, I'm going to be on the Kelly Clarkson show on Monday at 3 p.m. And she's doing a series on the work we've done in the community. And if you hear this guest come on and talk about what we've done for their family, because you don't always know what people are going through. I'm talking about, I got a guy that shows up, brother, on a motorized scooter with a prosthetic leg, picking up for him and his sister. Another guy comes with he don't have a roller, he don't have a cart. He has a suitcase, but it's no judgment, man. So when our name is on it, Vince, what they realize is that they can trust us. And we're not here to judge you. I'm here to help you, love you past that pain, encourage you, inspire you that tomorrow's going to be a better day, man. Proverbs 13:4 says, the soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of a diligent man shall be made rich. I will never be as rich as Bill Gates, but I'm going to be rich in love and empathy for my people.
And that's more important than any dollar amount.
Absolutely.
So Terrence, man, just listening to you talk, man, it's just, I know I don't know you like that, but I love you, my brother, for just doing that type of stuff in the community.
Thank you, brother. Much love.
Because that's a lot of people don't understand, man, how important that is, man. People always, in my opinion, they come through it but never come back, if that makes sense. Like they come through the struggle, they know how the struggle is, but then once they make it on that level, they'll never want to come back and stop. I mean, they might come see their family, but they feel like, hey, if I can make it out, you can make it out. But once you come back and show me how to make it out.
Absolutely, because what happens sometimes, brother, it goes back to that chronic trauma. So you're going back to that same place of crime, that same place of hurt, that same place of despair. And then once you have to regurgitate that, you have to deal with what comes with that. So, man, I love coming back to my community. I love being, I was doing this work when I was in certain countries. Didn't even realize it was global humanitarian work. I'm just seeing you as a person that's in need. If I got it, you can have it. Man, these shoes and these shirts don't mean nothing to me, bro. This clothes don't mean nothing, man. I can't take none of this stuff with me. My job is to leave this earth on empty, to have an unapologetic commitment to my community, and I ultimately want to disrupt poverty. I want to be the reason why kids decide I'm not going to give up. Inspire them, encourage them, keep going, don't you stop. And you use impact over income, because you know how hard it is, man, with this nonprofit work. It ain't easy. It ain't easy work, but it's just diligent. You got to be diligent. You got to be committed, and your commitment has to be so strong that it's unyielding, unwavering over all the no's. Because I still eat all the work we've done, fam. We still hear no's to this day. And I'm like, I remember calling, man, I'm gonna say this, and I really don't do this a lot. I called the 100 Black men when I first moved back to Detroit. I called them in 1999. Hey, left a message. Hey, my name is Terrence. I'm from this environment. I went to school. I got my degrees, blah, blah, blah. Bro, they never called me back to this day. And you telling me I can't mentor a young man? We can't help somebody, bro? But what God did was, out of that moment of frustration, allowed us to create our own movement. Like, you know what? We could do this on our own. And that's what me and DC did. We just started slowly, man, on Linwood and Taylor. Just slowly grinding and grinding and grinding. And shout out to my brother Lefty, man, because Lefty put money where his mouth is, man.
Wow. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand that you can't learn, as far as these young people, you can't learn if you're hungry or you're going through stuff. Talk about that trust that you built up to be able to do what you do.
You know, I always tell educators, Vince, that it's a 5-day work week, right? So you got 5 days, Monday through Friday. You got 4 weeks. If you talk to a kid, if I say to Vince, hello, Vince, every day for five days, right? For 4 weeks, that is 20 contacts I've made with Vincent. Over a 5-month period, I made 100 contacts with Vincent. We have a relationship. Now we're building on that. Now Vince knows my word is my bond. He can trust me. I'm not telling his business. I'm not trying to put him on blast in front of his friends, things he shared with me. Unless it's something that's gonna hurt you, I'm gonna keep it between me and you. And so I can just tell you that trust is everything, man. Relationship is everything. If you got a proper relationship with young people, they'll tell you what's going on in life. And some of that stuff, man, will hurt you. Some of that stuff will make you cry. Like, I can't believe this baby is going through this. Why do you have this kid living in such a terrorist environment? Why is this kid being touched in the middle of the night by her mother's boyfriend or the stepfather? Why is this happening? Why is this kid using so much marijuana? You know why? Because they're trying to escape the pain. And I guarantee you this, brother, if adults had to endure what young people go through every day, they would have quit a long time ago. They quitters. Them people that's on the side of the road at the exit, when you exit off the freeway, they quitters, man. They quit because something happened in their life. We got to, if you raise that kid's dreams and raise his aspirations, he'll raise his pants. Because now he know that Vince is believing me. That Vince gonna hold me accountable. Mr. Vincent say he was coming at Monday at 9 o'clock. He showed up. So unless I'm in a hospital, I'm coming, bruh, for these kids. I'm gonna return your phone call. They know that I'm not gonna judge them. I'm gonna try to get you where you need to get to. I'm gonna expose you, but I'm also gonna hold you accountable now. You're not going to embarrass me. I'll give you an example, man. I do this program out in Southgate where we take these kids who wanna be in politics, public service, to a breakfast. And we had a young lady, they were serving quiche that morning. And she was like, Mr. Wheeler, I don't know what that is. I don't want to eat that. I said, hey, no, I said, quiche is nothing but an egg McMuffin. Just try it. But see, it's education. She didn't know what fork to use. I said, listen, I didn't know until I got to college, outside in. But it's just exposing kids and not looking down on them. Raise them up, man. Say hello to a kid at the gas station. If you see that young lady with a dress on you think is inappropriate, have a conversation. Maybe that's her only dress. I got kids right now, brother. I'm going out on Monday. I got a kid who's doing his Zoom in a bed because they have no furniture. So I'm going out and work out a relationship with one garden wife or somebody to get a dining table for this family.
That's dope. That's super dope, man. So with all this good work you're doing, let our viewers know where people can donate. Let them know your social sites. Let them know so that we can try to get you some help with this thing that you're doing, man, because it's amazing and a blessing.
You know, I was reluctant to start this little Cash App thing, man. I was reluctant, but they forced me to do the Cash App. So it's Cash App at Terrence Wheeler. We got a PayPal, All-Star Give Back. Or they can just holler at me, man, 313-819-0040. If y'all want to make a donation of food, product, whatever it is, we'll figure it out because we're always doing something for young people. And even for you, bro, with your nonprofit, however I can be of assistance to you, man, let me know, man. I would love to be able to partner with you young brothers and just figure out how do we make the community better. If we all do a little, no one has to do a lot. You know what I mean? We all just help each other out a little bit, man. Maybe I got some resources that can help you. You know what I mean? Maybe you can put something else in your backpack. Deodorant, toothpaste, socks, underwear, those type of things, man.
I appreciate it. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And then if you want to email me the information as well, and then I'll put it in the YouTube under the description and all of that as well.
Sound good, man. I appreciate that.
Do you remember the program Midnight Basketball? Do you think something like that could be effective anymore?
I think it can. I think that sports is a microcosm of society. When you get kids in an environment that's something that they love to do, whether it be sports, whether it be in a band, whether it be in a debate team, you got to get them in a team environment. So now he holds them accountable, teaches them responsibility, discipline. So you have a gym that's open, but I think, Vince, just because it's basketball, you also got to give them something else, man. I got to try to get you in some trades. I got to try to get you, if you that close to graduation, let's get you to complete that task, man. It's about completion. Maybe you need a job. Maybe you got a friend of the court issue. Let's deal with that. Let's peel back the onion, but basketball is just a carrot to get you in the door. But once you in, I got to have some other services for you to make you whole.
And you got to have positive mentors to lead them towards the light. Yes.
No question. And that's why these coaches are so important. You can't have coaches out here trying to sleep with your mama, trying to date your sister. Man, do your job, man.
Exactly.
Perry Watson, man, to his fact, to give him credit, man, everybody that coached for Perry all had their degrees. So there's the expectation that you're going to get your degree because you got Delmar Majors with his, Chuck Sutton, Herm Yancey, Larry Pierce. Those guys had their degrees. And so that goes back to use basketball and let basketball use you. And like I said, these coaches, man, if you're a coach, be a coach. You are a father figure. You are a mentor. This kid is watching your behavior, man. If you love me like you say you do, why you treat me the way you do?
Yeah, because my favorite saying is a kid don't care. It's how much you show that you care. They'll run through the wall. They don't care how much you don't
Absolutely,
know.
Man. Absolutely. Man, I'll run through one for Perry Watson right now. Man. I wouldn't be sitting here, brother. Had it not been for him and his sacrifice, in summer times, man, making sure you had everything that you needed and then putting you in front of college coaches that, can recruit you because he knew, man, we couldn't afford college, man. There's no way my parents could afford college. Then when my grandmother could have been, there was no way. And so basketball was a tool that we used. It exposed us. I played with some great players all over the world. And so the game has been good to me. I owe more to it than when I gave it to it, bro. When I gave to the game, I owe way more to the game. I got some outstanding relationships, some principles that I live by. And so I'm just so thankful, man, to be sitting here talking to you brothers about my life, my journey, man. Like I said, from growing up on Vinewood, man, on the boulevard, going to Harvard, man, sitting down with Barack Obama, man, it's just a wonderful life, man. It's a testament that if you work hard, you stay grounded, and you trust your purpose, brother. That's one thing I want to iterate. Trust your purpose. Your purpose will get you up at night. Your purpose will keep you up at night. Your purpose will prevent you from being fatigued. It's your purpose. You got to trust it. And let nobody talk you out of your purpose. Let nobody tell you what you cannot do. Oh, you can't do. No, God didn't put it on you. It's why you can't do it. But here's what I'm going to do, bro. I'm going to make this thing happen, man, because I'm committed to it.
Do you think that you just growing up in Detroit and growing up the way you grew up, the reason why you work so hard?
Absolutely, man. I oftentimes, as mad as I was at my father for his absence, I got to think that I would not have the drive and maybe the determination, maybe the stick-to-itiveness, maybe the unapologetic commitment had he been there. I don't know what spirit he would have brought, but I know where I'm at now as it relates to my upbringing, seeing the things that I've seen. I've seen how quickly a person can go from working every day to being hooked on drugs. I know what it does to families, how it destroys you from beautiful people who now you say, damn, is that the same person? And all I wanted to do was to show kids that I come from this environment. It's not your conditions, but yet your decision-making that determines your destiny. You got to continue to work hard, show them, prove them wrong. You're going to make it. And I give kids shirts like I'm phenomenal. Because if you got a shirt on and say I'm phenomenal, you're going to believe you're phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Watch me be great. That means, hey, watch me be great. I'm going to do this. And so I look at where God has taken me and all the people that have endorsed me along this path. I stand on their shoulders, a Cheryl Harshaw, a Perry Watson, George Grandison, you name it, man. So many guys that helped me. I wouldn't be here without those people, man. I would even Lefty, Derek Coleman, Ike Austin, Gary Payton. Derek Coleman, man, went in his pocket, gave me money to help my mother go to rehab, bruh. Real talk. Like the stuff that these guys did for me, man, supersedes basketball, brother.
Talk about getting these young people to understand that they are the next, they're the future, and getting them to understand that process and getting involved into politics and how they can make a difference.
Because I think that, man, these young people are enduring so much, man, every day. Like I said, I grew up, I had a grandmother. So my mother was on drugs. At the age of 12, I was able to go live with my grandmother and have stability. Some of these young people don't have anybody. I can tell you some horror stories of parents just walking away, leaving their kids in a motel at 12 and 14 years old. Y'all figure it out. And so what has to happen is, number one, you got to have empathy. Empathy coupled with ethical care, wanting to build a relationship with that young person and letting that young person know that T times E equals R. Time multiplied by effort gives you the reward. You got to put the time and effort in. The effort has to match your desire. Then you get the reward. And then to understand that you can trust me, man. It's hard for young people to trust old heads because somebody that looked like you did me wrong. Somebody that looked like you didn't show up, that touched me in the middle of the night, that gave me drugs, that led me astray, that took my money when I worked hard in the summer. So you got to go get back to the nitty-gritty, man, of building positive rapport with young people. Letting them know I'm not here to harm you. I'm here to help you. And so education is not just about who can pass the test, man. I gotta get the whole person. I gotta get your common sense together. These kids are walking down the street, man. First of all, let me say this. I'll back up. Vince, they got wounds that are seen and unseen, brother. And they come to school with a lot of scars, man. And people don't understand this kid, why he's angry, because guess what? I ain't seen my mama in 2 weeks. Well, I just left the house and she threw a shoe at me on my way to the bus stop. Ain't nobody hug me and tell me I love you. How many kids can be told they ain't shit, bro? You ain't gonna be shit? Think about the psychological damage that does. I'm like, no, so I gotta come behind it like, no, yes, you are. And you may and I'll say this, Vince, bro, I never met a kid that said, Mr. Wheeler, I wanna be a failure. They wanna be successful. Adults have to do their job. If we can support them on athletic events, or we can't support them on a debate team, on a chess team, on a marching band, support the kid, man. That's all you got to do. Do your job. And if you're not going to do it, get out the way.
No, for sure. My
Don't
favorite
hurt us if you're not going to help us.
Yep. Beat it, bruh. You in the way, man. You causing more harm than good. And so sometimes the toxicity of people is now given to that kid because energy is neither lost nor stolen. It's simply transferred. So now you bring that toxic behavior to me. We're sitting up there in a bad environment. watching all this reality TV show, you think this is how you talk to people. When in fact, that's not real life. This is a made up world.
Yeah. So Terrence, I got one for you. So one of my favorite segments of the shows is cut, bench, start. So I'm gonna give you 3 names. You got to bench one, cut one, start one.
Okay.
So we're gonna go Terry Mills, Glenn Rice, Roy Marble.
Oh, I'm cutting Roy Marble. He cuts. Roy Marble's cut off the bat. Rest his peace, rest his soul, rest in peace, rest in heaven. Roy Marble's a hell of a player, but in these 2, you getting cut. I'm starting Glenn Rice.
Okay.
I'm bringing T. Mills off the bench.
Okay.
You don't know. Usually we end the show that way, and you won't believe how much pain it puts people in. You should have seen Coach Benny White. He was struggling. He was hurt.
I think you've handled it the best out of everyone. he was clear and concise, man. Everybody else is
Because even the judge struggled too. The judge tried to back the question and put his finger in there.
No, man. You got to cut Roy Marble, man. Listen, Roy Marble is a great athlete, but Terry Mills, 6'10", shoot the tray ball, point guard vision, court savvy, gonna rebound, gonna pick and pop. And Glenn Rice, man, is just money. That's just butter. That's a walking bucket right there, bro. And actually, it's traumatic for me to say that because he beat me in the state championship twice. So, but I knew then, who was this kid? 6'8", shooting like that, hands taped up, a walking bucket. I'm going with the walking bucket all day long, bro.
It's funny, the 2 names that you mentioned, when I had to cringe when you mentioned them. I checked B.J. Armstrong when he was at Brother Rice. And I like to tell people I shut him down because at the beginning of the season, he was averaging like 34. I held him to like 30.
Yeah, man. Beat me. I have been playing against BJ. So BJ played for Joe Tucker, him, Big Ben, Bo Neely, and them. And I played for the Roadrunners. They was our rival. So I've been playing against BJ a long time, man. I just saw B a couple years ago, man. Good brother. Proud of all his success. And Miguel Knight is a sleeper too that people don't talk about a lot. But Miguel Knight was a hell of a player. And another guy, man, Carl Brown. Renaissance didn't win nothing. But Carl Brown was a Benny Johnson type guy. 5'9", strong, speed, handles, prolific jumper. He was a problem.
Yeah.
My last thing for you is who would you listen to on this podcast? And if you got a plug, you got to plug us.
Man, I think that podcast is just a great venture to be able to get the message out, man. To everybody got something different they're saying. So I just appreciate all the variety of it, man. Obviously D.L. Hughley's my guy. So I listen to him a lot, man. Me and him go back and forth on politics and giving back to the community. But I would say, man, if y'all can get Jalen, I think Jalen or even Vashawn would be great. Because you got a Vashawn Leonard who was a 3-point champion, played for Miami Heat, talk about that Pat Riley experience. Because Riley was nuts. Riley put his head in an ice bucket, you know what I mean? Telling you ain't working hard enough. So Riley created a certain culture down there. I would say those 2. And even Howard wouldn't be bad. Howard's kind of a soft-spoken dude, so he may not give you a lot of the extra. But I would love to hear what Bo has to say, man, just about his career, being really a prodigy, man, forgotten about player to an extent, coming out of Southwestern, going to Minnesota, going to the CBA, thinking he wasn't going to make it. All of a sudden, boom, he pops up and have a great end to his career, in the NBA. You
got a plug for us? You want to plug us with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you the information. I'll tell you what I do. Let me start with. I'll start. Let me text Jay, and then he probably send me his email. I'll start that way versus just give you the number. You know how that go. But I'll definitely do that, man. Yeah, absolutely. Did y'all talk to Lefty? Y'all talk to DC?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I text DC and was talking about having him on next, actually.
Okay, yeah,
so
get him on there, man.
Tell him that you were on here.
Yeah, get it on it. Grant Long would be great, man. I would even say a guy named Derek Jefferson. He's a King guy who was a basketball player turned boxer, who was hit with the virus, Got his own clothing line. He's doing some great things in the community as well. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was hanging out with them when they left school and got shot.
Yeah,
up at the store.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Willie Burton? Y'all talked to Willie B?
You got the plug on that one?
Yeah, now let me tell you, Willie Burton gonna be long-winded, brother. So that brother talk forever.
That's all right.
So we gotta cut him down, man. But now Willie B is gonna be a good one too. He got a great story, man. Got a great story.
I'm trying to keep you on the line. I ain't gonna lie to you. You have inspired, man. And feeding the homeless and adopting families for Christmas has always been my favorite part of coaching. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But you have taken it to another level.
Yeah, I just try, man, Vince, to do the things that young people want you to do. The people that's in most need to tell you what they need. It's the fact that, see, we have enough resources to feed the poor. We just can't satisfy the rich. That's all it is. There's enough resources. Man, these restaurants throw food away as opposed to giving it to you. They'll throw it away. Why? It's a family down the street that needs that, man. Bring that family in here and let them eat. And so all I wanted to do, man, was use my platform to enrich the lives of others, use my position. I always say, man, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? When you gonna make it happen? We can't sit around and wait on the government. We can't sit around and say, well, you know what? This athlete's supposed to do it. Yeah, you would hope they would, but y'all could do some things in between time. You can collect 50 pairs of socks. You can go buy 50 pairs of underwear. You can go and help that young lady with feminine hygiene products that she may need on a monthly basis. You could buy deodorant and body wash. Man, when I travel, Vince, I collect lotion, body wash, all those things from the hotel. And I put them in my bag. I come back and put them in our backpacks. Because somebody in this school, somebody in this community needs some body wash. I do adult wipes for kids that are in shelters. So all you got to do is be creative, brother. You ain't got to have I ain't got to have 1,000 of them. Maybe I start with 50 to 100. If we can go out and buy Hennessy, buy Moon Rock and Kush, buy Prada, buy Dolce & Gabbana, buy labels that we can't even pronounce, we can help our community, brother.
Better bet we can. You're a big inspiration, man, because I ain't gonna lie to you, and I'm pretty sure you have almost hit this wall too, but with my nonprofit, man, it's just all the obstacles you come encounter when you're just trying to help. And you're not even asking for nothing. So talking to you, man, you just inspired me, and I know you inspire Craig to just keep at it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, I implore you, bro. I demand that you keep at it, brother. I demand that you don't give up, brother, that you keep at it, man, that you make, because you are going to impact lives that you may never get a thank you for. You're going to impact people that would never say, hey, man, I remember Craig and them did this for me. No, just do it because it needs to be done. And if you give up, man, that means they're going to be further and further behind the eight ball. I could tell you horror stories about people who said what they was going to do. I got you, then forgot about you. But you stick with it, man. You stick with it. So the love and the flight that I'm on right now, I pray for this. I pray for this that I'm sitting in right now to be able to make an indelible impact in my community. But it's not without a grind. It's not without hitting the wall saying, dang, man, wow, this company saying they love kids won't help us. How are you talking about I'll help a kid in Detroit, but not River Rouge? When it's all the separating is a 10-yard alleyway, an NFL first down. You don't love these kids, you like them. You don't love these kids. You like them because you want to get your data. When that kid is hungry and homeless, they ain't thinking about homework. So you want data, but the data don't tell you that this young girl's on her period. She don't have no pads and pain liners. But you talking about you want to help her because she's not living on 6 in DeQuinda. What you talking about, man? Help this kid. Poverty has no zip code. Powerless kids need powerful friends, man. Don't y'all dare give up, brother. I'm not going to let you give up, fam. Yeah. I'm a phone call away, man. Come on, man. The need is great all over, bruh. So if you help in the Persian area, somebody else take Southeastern, somebody else take McGraw and the Boulevard, come on, man. It's got to get done. If not us, then who? They ain't coming, bruh.
You're right about that.
It's on us.
We were trying to, we said after the last podcast we said that we wanted to get with Skip Boyd because he does his backpack giveaways and his little basketball camp, and you know he does that just out of love. And we were like, we got to be a part of that, you know.
You talk about
Absolutely.
K
Yeah.
do the same thing too. Because
Yeah,
long
K.
story
Felder.
short, K. Felder, he went to Persian.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
that's little bro. So he's been seeing what I've been doing, but he does it like on a whole nother level though. I ain't gonna lie, but it's like you said, man. Like I told him at the end of the day, man, if we do what we supposed to do, everything else will fall in place.
Absolutely, because all levels are needed. So we start out, man. I started out, brother. I'm telling you, man. We wasn't at 5,000 turkeys. We was at a couple hundred. We with just the turkeys. Now we at 5,000 with all the trimmings and all the other stuff. Years and years later, I'm talking about 22 years later, man, where you can now, okay, I need to add this, I need to add that. No, I would never thought about putting adult wipes in a backpack. I'm just giving you a backpack with school supplies, a good backpack, because I know that you need a good one. I ain't talking about no dollar store backpack, because this backpack also serves as luggage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You put your outfit in there, you on the move, you on the run. Man, hey, got my backpack, I'm gone. So I'm gonna give a kid a sturdy backpack. I'm not giving a kid something I wouldn't give to my own children.
No, I totally agree, man. Well, I know this episode has been very inspirational. You answered all my questions. So I don't know if you got some more, man, but you the man. You the man for
sure, man. It's definitely been motivational, man. So
my brother always has a banquet or whatever, and Terrence speak, he comes, and the first time I heard him speak, I was like, I need to be a part of that team. You know, I was just like, I have to be a part of that, you know, because that's something you dream to be. Inspiration.
Yeah, man.
I was like, I have to be a part of it. So, you know, I told Skip, and Skip was like, I've heard about him as far as basketball stuff, but he does his research. Skip was like, let's do it. You know, let's do it. So, I mean, we couldn't wait to get you on here.
For sure.
Couldn't wait.
Man, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. And I thank Coach, man, for letting me speak to those young cats, man, because, you know, like I said, through the game of basketball, you're able to build relationships and you're able to talk their language. And once you get in the house, man, you can find a room. I could talk to you about sports, but also let me tell you about finishing that academic part of it too, brother. You know what I mean? It ain't all about, you know, trying to be the next LeBron, man. Be the best version of you. How do you set yourself up to be able to take care of your entire family for the rest of your life?
Amen to that, man, for sure.
I appreciate you.
You're a blessed.
Man, thank you, brothers, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for blessing us.
I'm gonna email you guys the information, man. I'm gonna reach out to them today, man, and we're gonna make it happen.
And we'll be reaching out to
you. Jay may take a little while because he got crazy. He busy, man. He got 15 jobs right now. But Bo was here in the city. Obviously, Lefty's here. Willie's here. So Terry Mills is here. You know, all these guys are here, man. So we can make it happen.
And also, man, anything that, you know, we can help you with, like I said, anytime I'm in town, feel free to use me. You know, whatever I can.
And what about Coach Watson? When y'all talk to Watt?
P-Dub?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna reach out to him. I got so P-Dub like one of my favorite people too. I got his number. I'm gonna reach out.
From the hip 4/5, I'm the shooter. Dog, I do ya. But the two don't discriminate, cause I shoot the guy next to you. I can see right through you.